Hello everybody, today I'm going to talk about 5 makeup items that I want to get more of in 2020 and 5 I don't. I came up with this idea after doing a little bit of soul searching into what I want makeup wise in 2020, and I realized that last year at this time I was restricting myself a lot when it came to makeup for a multitude of reasons, but this year I kind of want to lean into what makes me happy about makeup. I don't necessarily want to be getting more makeup, I just want to get makeup that really truly makes me happy, and I want to add to my collection in that way. So that's what this video is going to be all about. But if you are new, let me just take the time to introduce myself. My name is Anya, and I run this YouTube channel onto which I post makeup related videos several times a week. I talk about consumerism, I talk about new makeup releases, I do the occasional review video, and I also love having an open conversation about makeup and what it means and creativity and all of that sort of stuff. Also, I have a makeup Instagram onto which I post photos of my colorful makeup looks because I love doing colorful makeup looks. That's my style and that's what I love to do. So my makeup account on Instagram is a great source for that. I'll put it on the screen now. And I also, on that account, post quick IGTV makeup tutorials. So if you're ever interested in seeing how I created a certain makeup look, chances are it is on that platform. I basically want to talk about what I'm not getting first and then alternate to what I am getting and so on and so forth. So let's first talk about something that I am not wanting in my collection, and I actually feel very strongly about this. I do not want to get face palettes. I do not want to add them to my collection. I do not want to get them in 2020 because I have a few face palettes in my collection already, and something that I have noticed is that I don't use them hardly ever. I have like a bronzer that I use all the time. It happens to be the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It takes like a concentrated effort for me to actually alternate to another bronzer because I like this one so much, because clearly I have used up already 2 of these. So yeah, I love this bronzer. I think that the entire point of a face palette is to make makeup super easy and accessible for makeup artists, and I am not a makeup artist. I just pulled my own hair. I'm not necessarily a makeup artist. I just do makeup on myself, and I want certain steps in my routine to be as quick and easy and stress-free as possible. Not that makeup is stressful, but you know, like I want certain parts of my makeup routine to be very quick and seamless. And taking out an entire palette just to use 1 or 2 parts of it is a little bit too much effort for me in an area that I don't want to make that effort, especially when I already have products that I really like in those categories that are in singles. And I have noticed that yes, I tend to prefer to use face products in single form. I rarely reach for a bronzer palette anymore. I rarely reach for a highlighter in a palette anymore, and I have noticed that, and I'm gonna try and make sure that I'm not adding to those categories in my collection because already the palettes that I do have are not getting used, and I don't need to add more. Something that I will be getting though would be more eyeshadow palettes. At some point last year I was talking about how I already have so many eyeshadow palettes and I don't necessarily need more. Yes, that may be the case, but at the same time, eyeshadow palettes are something that I still love getting, I still love using. It is something that brings me so much joy to open up a new eyeshadow palette that I have wanted for a certain period of time, that I've spent money on, that I know I will be using, you know, like, and especially since these days I tend to be very strategic with what I'm getting. Eyeshadow palettes are so much fun for me, and I look forward to getting new ones in 2020 because that's what inspires me, especially since we have been seeing so many amazing launches from some of my favorite brands. I cannot wait to see what more they have to offer in 2020 specifically. So eyeshadow palettes are definitely something that I will continue to be getting because I love them. Pressed glitters are something that I will not be getting. I own a few pressed glitters, and I have not used them in a very long time. I tend to use glitters in a liquid or loose form. By liquid form, I just mean products that are supposed to be eyeshadow toppers. Oftentimes you have certain products that come in like a liquid form with like glitter in it. So those are super great because they're convenient to use, they look good on the eyelids, and they just add to any makeup look without any sort of fuss. Pressed glitters, ironically, for me, tend to be a little bit more difficult to use than loose glitter, and I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I find that a lot of times like the glycerin that they are packaged with in a in a pressed form can be so like just annoying to use because it's thick and it's goopy, and you could apply it like, and you could apply the whole concoction with your fingers, but then again, like then your fingers get covered in glitter. You could use a brush, but then it just takes longer, and I just don't want that kind of fuss. So pressed glitters, I'm not going to be getting them in 2020 because I don't use the ones I already have, and I just don't want to deal with it. Something that I will be getting, single shadows. I have wanted to add to my single shadow pressed pigments collection for a very long time. There are a number of indie brands that I really want to try, and they specialize in single shadows and single pressed pigments, and I really want to get my hands on those things. I specifically would be really interested in trying out like really unique duochrome formulas that happen to come in single shadows. I really like the fact that you can really just pick and choose what colors you want, and the pro to shopping for single shadows and pressed pigments is that you literally have to really think about which colors really speak to you, as opposed to getting a palette with like a few colors that are already curated. You are able to sort of like think about what you really want and get single shadows that correspond to what you want. So yeah, single shadows, definitely getting those. Something I will not be getting, red lipsticks. I'm already wearing a red lipstick. I clearly love wearing red lipstick. So you might be wondering, why am I not interested in getting more red lipsticks? Well, because I have a ton of them. Somehow I just ended up with a bunch of red lipsticks. I don't know how this happened, because I would think that I'm the kind of person that tends to go for like nudes. And I have a lot of nudes, don't get me wrong. But I also have a ton of red lipsticks, and I have not used a lot of them in a very long time. I tend to go for specific formulas that I really, really like, that I have faith in, that I use a ton. For example, the Fenty, what's it called? The Fenty lip gloss? No, well, the Fenty Stunna lip paint in the shade Uncensored is what I'm wearing today, and I love it, and I use it all the time, and that's what I tend to go for. And I still have so many other red lipsticks that I don't use. I've actually done a video on all my red lipsticks. I'll put it on the screen somewhere, or it'll be on my channel. But yeah, I have a lot of red lipsticks. They're not getting used, and I don't need to add to the already huge amount of red lipsticks that I just don't get, like that I just don't go into. Like I don't even use them, and I have a ton of them. I'm talking about red lipsticks. I'm talking about liquid lipsticks, all red. I have a ton of them, and I need to use them. Okay, something that I will be getting would be liquid liners. I really want to experiment more with winged looks in 2020. Clearly, I love doing a winged liner. I have been obsessed with it. I would love to find some more liquid liners that are black. I want to try some more of those. I also want to try more colorful liners. So that's definitely something that I will be trying out in 2020. I want to purchase more liquid liners, because because right now that's my favorite format to use for liners in general. I love a good liquid liner, especially if it comes in a pen or a felt tip, or even in a pot, actually. As long as it's not a pencil. I don't think I'll be getting like any pencil liners in 2020, really, unless it's like a black pencil liner, because I just don't really use those anymore. But yeah, liners in general, I'm obsessed with them right now, and I will definitely be trying more in 2020. Something that I will not be getting, concealer. I've spoken about this before on several occasions. I just don't wear concealer, and I get the purpose behind concealer, and I get that because I have problematic skin, I probably can really use a concealer, but honestly, wearing foundation is all I want to do, and I don't want to go through like I don't want to necessarily put on a concealer, because I don't know, my skin is the type of skin that I feel like if I started putting concealer on every single like imperfection on my face, I would be here all day. Instead, what I can do is I can just take a little bit of foundation if I feel like it, and just like dot it on my face, like in the areas where I feel like I need it the most, blend it out, really buff it in, and then it provides like an airbrushed coverage of problematic areas without necessarily making those areas disappear. I just want like my skin to look a little bit more airbrushed. I don't want it necessarily to look perfect because that is not possible. Like my skin cannot look perfect unless I wear full coverage, and I don't want to do that, and I don't necessarily need a concealer for that. Plus, like I barely put like any kind of coverage on my face anyway right now, so I don't necessarily need concealer, if that makes any sense. Something that I want to get more of would be skincare. I really want to focus more on my skin in 2020, especially since I very rarely wear foundation whenever I'm not filming. I want to learn more about skincare. I want to get more into it. I currently have somewhat of a routine, but it's nowhere near where I think it should be. I want to spend more of my money on skincare. That's basically what I want to say. Instead of just spending money on makeup products that I already have a lot of, instead, what I can do is I can just spend money on skincare that is going to make me look and feel more beautiful in a more tangible way. Basically, I want to wake up in the morning, look at my face in the mirror and think, okay, my skin looks fantastic today. Because I have had some issues with my skin lately and I don't like that, and I want to be able to come up with like a good skincare routine and learn more about skincare so I can, fix that and also just make my skin better in general. Something that I will not be getting, false lashes. I'm wearing false lashes today. I have a full drawer of false lashes and I don't want to get any more. I recently bought a pair of false lashes, so maybe that's not going to be something that I'm going to be sticking with. But the point is, I'm going to try and not get more false lashes. Why? Because I have a full drawer of them, and the way I use false lashes, I basically use them until they fall apart. And yes, that is not a conventional way to use false lashes, because I believe that the conventional way to use them is to basically like use them like a handful of times and then just get rid of them. Isn't that what everyone does? I don't know. What I do is I literally put the same false lashes on. I usually tend to forget what brand or style I'm using because they're no longer in the packaging because I used them so long, and I basically keep them until they fall apart. And because I've like just used lashes in that way for a very long time, and I still was buying like multiple pairs of lashes, I have a ton of lashes. And whenever I open my lash drawer, I can see that I have enough lashes to last me for a very long time. So really, there's no need for me to get any false lashes for a long time. Maybe when Black Friday, when Cyber Monday rolls around again next year, maybe if I need false lashes, I'll get them at that time. But for now, I don't need any new ones because the rate at which I use my false lashes is pretty good, so I don't need any more. Something that I will be getting though would be, this is what I wrote down in my notebook, unconventionally toned lip products. Yes, that's what I want to get. I want to stay away from the nude lipsticks. I don't know if I'm being serious about that, honestly. I'm laughing at myself in my head, but I do want to try and stay away from nude lipsticks because I have so many of them. I want to stay away from red lipsticks, as I already have said, but I want to specifically look for lip colors that I don't have a lot of. I want to try like orangey colors, which I don't have a lot of, I also want to try like just maybe some colors that I feel uncomfortable with wearing right now that I might really, really love if I just try them out, So I definitely want to experiment more. I specifically would love to get more lipsticks rather than liquid lipsticks, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I just want to have like a greater range of colors. I also want to get more hot pink lipsticks because considering how often I wear hot pink, I don't necessarily have a ton of them. But yeah, I really want to try and experiment with getting some more unconventional lip colors to add to my collection in 2020. So on that note, that pretty much is everything. Well, not everything, but 5 things that I do want to get in 2020 and 5 things that I don't want to get in 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it relatively interesting. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.